So this is MIDI take 3, part 3. And what we're going to do is okay, so I deleted the vacuum synth off of here after I did all this work to it. And what you might be saying is, wow, you deleted it. So when I was trying to troubleshoot, that was the kind of first thing because we thought maybe it was the synth, but it wasn't the synth, it was the microphone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get that back. I cannot hit Command Z. If you go up here to edit, see how it says can't undo? That's because Pro Tools can't undo stuff like that. So we're kind of like lost as far as like bringing that stuff back. If we want to bring it back, we can't bring it back inside of Pro Tools by just hitting Command Z and undoing. What we can do instead is go into our Finder, and I'm going to go to where my Pro Tools is saved over here under Sound and Pro Tools Sessions, Pro Tools Projects, and we're going to go in here, we're going to go to MIDI. I'm going to just find the name of the track, which is MIDI 2112, 2101, and in here, I'm going to go into Session File Backups, and I'm going to grab the latest one. Has the cool feature, oh, the backups? Yes, but the backups in Ableton Live only work when you save it. You have to be saving it. It doesn't work automatically in the background. It's like only when you save it. So it's a little bit annoying. Pro Tools, it's constantly saving your backups. So what time is it now? It's 10:56. Let's go to 10:51, and well, I feel like we are, okay, let's back up to 10:51. So I'm going to double click this. We are, yeah, sure, let's save it, whatever. We're going to go in here and we're going to open this up. So 10:51, I had still been messing with stuff. So I'm going to go back even a little bit further to 10:44. We're not going to save that one. And no, we were still working on it. Wow, we were working on that for a long time. And there we go. So now we're good here. The vacuum here is good to go. And cool. Nice. Okay, there we go. Yep, so everything is kind of back to normal. And just make sure you let me know if the crackling starts happening again, because that's super duper annoying. Awesome. Now with this bass line here, I want it to be monophonic. And I think that, let's see, what's the toolbox for? Will this give me monophonic mode on envelope retrigger? I guess this is mono. I don't know if this synth can even be polyphonic. Let's see. Okay, it can't even be polyphonic. Okay, cool. So there we go. So it's monophonic for sure. There we go. Awesome. All right, so let's just back up and just kind of regroup a little bit. If you're following this along on the video, I'm going to go ahead and edit these together. I'm just going to stitch them together real quick so there won't be any time missing. But just for us here in real life, let's go through and just kind of look at a couple things in the notes here just to kind of see what we went over already. So we already went over input quantize, enable input quantize under your event operations window. That's just right up here under event operations, right there, input quantize. If you already have your event operations window open like this, then you do not have to go through all that. You got quantize here, you got change velocities, change duration, all this stuff here we're going to talk about in just a moment. But input quantize is right here, and I just make sure I turn it on with enable input quantize. And I usually change the strength to like 70% or so, and the grid, depending on what you're playing, how fast you're playing, stuff like that, you're going to change that grid. Usually for slower, like stuff under 130, change it to 16th notes. Stuff over 138th notes is a good rule of thumb. All right, so that's that. And I have here strength around 95%. You can change that, mess around with that so you know what you're doing. I kind of tend to change that depending on where I am in my life and what I'm doing. MIDI merge, if it's on, new notes will be added to the MIDI clip. If it's off, new notes will record over the MIDI clip. Menu window transport, MIDI merge. Remember, for MIDI merge, your loop record must be off, loop play must be on, and MIDI merge is only used for drum recording stuff, so you're not going to use it for everything. So if I want to have it on, that's this box right here under the transport window. This little box right here is my MIDI merge. So we're gonna leave, I usually leave that on for MIDI stuff. Depends on what I'm doing though. If I'm getting ideas together, I can maybe turn that off. It kind of depends if I wanna make a new MIDI clip on each pass over or not. All right, so that's that MIDI merge. Let me go over here to this. Is that it? Oh wow, I didn't realize that was all. Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, because there's a bunch of like other stuff that I didn't talk about yet, just for general MIDI stuff, which we're gonna come back and talk about that in a different video here. Now, the other stuff I do want to talk about here is the event operations and real-time properties, and these kind of go together here. So the first thing here is quantize. Now with this quantize, that's locking the things into the grid, and just this notes here has a little, just shows us about it. The quantize snaps MIDI or audio events to a grid. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a for 16th notes. And if I have like if I just got a quarter note, and that, if I'm playing kind of off, quantize, it's going to lock it in. And you probably learned about this a little bit in Mod 1. Maybe you already know a little bit about quantize. But the events snap to whichever grid they are closest to. So whatever event you're talking about, in this case, we're talking about the note on message from MIDI, just when I play the note, it's gonna move forward or backwards depending on how I played it, how sloppy I played it, or how clean I played it. And if you do a quantize, there are 3 ways to fix the incorrect timing. If you go ahead and lock it in, let me just show you what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and make a new one here on this drum line here. And I'm going to mute my bass track. I'm going to turn on my click. And I'm going to record this quarter notes. Let's record that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some really sloppy. So you can hear some of these over here are really clean and these are really sloppy here. So if I go up here and I bring up my, not that one, this one, come on, there you go. If I bring up my event operations window, which is option 0 if you're on a Mac or control 0 if you're on a Windows machine, if I pull that up, I'm going to go to my quantized grid. I'm going to set this to, let's set it to 8th notes right now. And I'm going to hit go. I'm going to turn off my strength, so it's just going to be 100%. And watch what happens. It moves things around really incorrectly. So these first ones are way off, as you can see. Everything else is pretty clean. But if I undo that and I go to quarter notes, watch what happens. Everything locks in because I'm playing a quarter note and I wasn't sloppy enough so it wouldn't play the quarter note. So even though I was really off, it was still close enough to that grid that it made it work right. And if I go and put it to 16th notes, watch what happens. So it was a little bit sloppier, but still pretty okay. This first part was really sloppy. So my point is that if you know what rhythm you're playing, then set it to that rhythm and it will work out. Hopefully, it depends on how badly you played it. If you don't know your rhythm, use 16th notes and hope for the best. In this case here, it's pretty off, but I want that hi-hat to be quarter notes. So how do I change it? What can I do to change it? Well, there's 3 ways you can change it. We can replay it. We can fix it by hand in the MIDI editor, or I could adjust the quantized grid from 16th notes to quarter notes. So if I go in here, let's undo. So now they're all sloppy again. Yep. Okay, so first way to do it is I go ahead and I change this to notes view, and I'm gonna just zoom in on that a little bit, pull it down into the middle, and I'm gonna go in here and change it by hand. So I'm gonna set my grid to quarter notes up here, this grid here. And that's different from the quantized grid. And I'm just going to drag things around. And now we're good to go. Now, what this means, though, is it means I have to kind of do everything by hand, right? Which I may not want to do. So that's kind of the long way to do it. I'm just going to undo all that stuff there. Okay, so that's the long way to do it. That's sometimes the only way to do it, though. If it's really off, you got to go in and fix things by hand. The other way to do it is to set my quantized grid to quarter notes and hope that I was close enough to the quarter notes, which in this case I know I was, so it'll fix it. So I'm going to change this back to my clips. Go in here, hit apply. It's set to quarter notes here, hit apply, boom, and now we're good to go. That's pretty awesome. And then the other way is just to replay it. So a lot of times I'll just replay it. If I played really poorly and it's like super off, I'll just go ahead and replay it, depending on how long it was, depending on how much I remember about it, stuff like that. So if I go in here, and you can hear I'm still pretty sloppy, but I'm close enough so the 16th notes work. Okay, so that's just showing you how you can replay it and make it way better. Now, obviously, if you're going faster, it's not going to work as well with 16th notes. And let me just show you an example of that. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to get rid of all this stuff, and let's go ahead and change this into a trap tempo. So I'm going to go here to my tempo and set this to like 150, 160. And now let's hit play. All right, so we got this here, and you can hear it's much faster. And I've got my, let me set up my quantize here. My quantize is set for 16th note, and 16th note right now is like that. That's really fast, right? Slower would be better for my 8th note. That's my 8th note. So that's going to be better for playing stuff in. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play 8th notes with my hi-hat. It's like not on anymore. It's like I'm having a lot of problems with this because of something with my latency. Let me just see what's happening here with loop back, if I can get this to behave better. Oh God, it's so gross. It's so off. When I hit the key, y'all can probably hear it on my keyboard. When I hit the key on my keyboard, it's like it's so off. Oh, it's so annoying to play like that. So anyway, whatever. All right, so I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna hit my 3 key. I said I'm gonna hit my 3 key. Okay, there we go. And I got this here. I'm gonna play an 8th note in. It's so hard to do that because it's so off right now. All right, so anyway, I'm going to hit that, and I'm going to hit quantize, and it does a pretty good job. I'm a little bit off. And you can hear some of them piled on top of each other, which is actually Ableton Live doesn't allow it to do that. Pro Tools does allow it to do that. So you can actually go in and you can actually get rid of unwanted like notes if that happens. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. All right, so there's that. And what I would do is I would highlight, like, here, like turn my record off, and I would just grab the one that I want and use that one across all of them. There we go. And now I've got my 8th notes. And this is like, if I want to record on top of this stuff, let's change it to 16th note and see what happens when I try to play like the kick drum and snare drum in here. This. Yeah, I can already tell it's going to be way wrong. Hear how wrong that is? But if I put it into 8th notes, Let's turn off my recording. Okay, and when I put to eighth notes, it's going to be probably right. There we go. Well, this one was not right. Move those over. There we go. And that's what I do. Like I'll quantize it, and then I just moved over the ones that were wrong. And that's what I do like a lot of the time, especially for drums and stuff like this. And I can go ahead and record in my clap. Yeah, there we go. Let's record another one. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and quantize that. I'm going to set my strength a little bit less. There we go. Cool. Now, since this is like a little trap beat, it wouldn't be a trap beat without some rolls in here. So let's go ahead and put some rolls in. For this, I'm going to go ahead and double click it to open it up in this view here. And let's go ahead and use the pencil tool, F10 for the pencil tool. And I'm just going to type it in. Now, when I'm typing stuff in with the pencil tool, this number right here is what my velocity is going to be. What would you say to quantize the drums at half notes? You do not want to quantize your drums at half notes. Now, Alon, you're bringing up an interesting question here, because a half note is different from a half beat, and I know that some drum machines or some programs maybe I've run into this with my iPad, where it'll be like half notes, and I'm like, I think it happened actually with Aria, which we're going to talk about in a couple weeks here. Aria, I think it calls it half notes in some screens, and then half eighth notes. Don't be confused between half notes and eighth notes. I think you're talking about eighth notes, and what I'm doing is eighth notes. Eighth notes is what some programs call half notes, and those programs are wrong. A half note is, here's a half, here. I'm going to play this one on the half note. Here's a half note. Here, let's go ahead and record. That's a half note. That's really slow. So what, like, you don't ever really want to quantize at that half note there. I hope that, does that help answer your question a little bit? So I would say don't ever, like, there's no reason to quantize drums at half notes unless you're really, really slow drum, like a ride cymbal or something like that. So, and this is not your fault at all. This is because a lot of people out there in the world, they don't know their actual proper music theory vocabulary. So they'll say like half note, but what's happening is, especially with trap music, and I think this is something that's just come up because trap music has become so popular in the last 10 years, is that trap is recorded at half time. So a quarter note is a half note. But really, the way that trap is produced and the way that it's heard are different. Trap music, nobody dances to trap music like this. But, right? They dance to music, the trap music. I don't know. I don't go to clubs for trap. So I don't know how people dance to it, honestly. I'm just talking right now. But I don't imagine people dancing super fast. I mean, I guess they've got little bounces in there, but the way we hear trap music is more kind of leaning back on it, right? Boom, cat, boom, 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 ta, like that. It's not like this. So when we hear the trap music, we're actually hearing that quarter note as slow, which is the half note. Okay, I don't know. Maybe you can show me one day. So Pro Tools is not free. There is a free version of Pro Tools, but so with with the way that it's produced, we produce it at 130 BPMs. And that's just because, I'm not going to talk about what the difference is right now. You have to research that on the web. Just do a Google search. The reason why is because people just started producing it faster because I think it was just easier for them to produce, especially maybe on like an MPC or something. But the way we hear it is actually in that half tempo thing. So because of that, let's go in here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change everything up here. So I've got my 16th note. Right now it's set to the 16th note. And this little number here, it can go up to 127 because that's the peak of MIDI here. You can't come onto my lap, baby. My dog really wants to come onto my lap. I'm sorry here. You know what? You're too cute. You can come onto my lap. Come on. Come on. Get on my lap. I'm moving the keyboard for you. Come on, over here. So what I want to do is I'm going to set this to 127, so it's the loudest it can go for this drum. And I'm going to go ahead and plug in some notes in here using my pencil tool. I'm going to zoom in here. There you go, baby. Yeah. And let's go ahead and I'm just going to plug in the note like right there, and I'm going to plug it in right here. And I'm just looking at where my hi-hat line is, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and plug this in here, and it's starting to sound more trappish already. Now, what I can do with this is I'm going to change this. Actually, I'm going to undo those, and let's show you here. I'm going to change this to my 32nd notes, and it's going to be more of a roll. Where's my 30? Oh, here's my grid over here. So sorry, this is the length of the note. I'm sorry, I got a little bit confused there for a second. This one here is the length of the note, and this here is my grid over here. I forgot they put it on separate sides. So in here, so now it's set for 32nd notes, and you can see the grid is smaller. And I'm just gonna put it right here. I'm gonna put these in. And like I said before, remember, drums don't matter how long it is. And we're gonna go ahead and put one in right here. Nice little rolly roll. Yeah. And put that in like that. And put a little roll right there. And we got little, there we go. Cool. And now if I wanted to do some velocity changes to this and make it a little bit more interesting velocity-wise, I can just grab my line tool down here and draw lines across these notes. A half step and a half a beat. Well, the beat is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So a half beat would be really an eighth note. A half beat is another way to call an eighth note, I assume. It's not something you say in music theory, half beat. Like, people call it an eighth note in music theory. A half beat, like your beat is here, right? And right now we're a beat 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our beat. So the half a beat would be what that hi-hat's doing most of the time. That's also called an eighth note. I think people who don't have any music theory, like traditional music theory schooling, will call it a half beat. But a half note is actually it's actually a quarter. Yeah. I'm asking because FL Studio uses those terms. Yeah. I would just say that it's too bad that FL Studio uses those terms because they're wrong. I mean, they're right, I guess, but it's like I don't ever really understand why a program will just be like, whatever, we're just going to make our own words for it, even though these words have been used for like hundreds of years. Why not just use the right words and try to stop? Don't divide everybody. So, yeah, I don't know. That's why you gave up on FL. I mean, FL is still fine, I guess. I don't know. All right. So anyway, so this is how we could do this. We can draw this stuff in. And if I wanted to, see, if I just click and drag across, I can put this stuff in like a little bit easier. So I can go in and do that. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drag this up like this. And I'm just putting in some like velocity in here. See how I've got this line on here? It's just gonna, because I've got the line, it's gonna drag straight across on these. And it's gonna put a nice little curve in. There we go. Cool. Sweet. So I got this here. Let's make this a little bit like this. Cool. All right. So you can see how that all works out right there. Got my little hi-hat rolls. Sweet. And if you want to adjust the velocity for one instrument or one note, you can just hold down your command key or your control key and click on it and drag it up and down, and it will adjust your velocity. You can see the little line down there is adjusting down there. Great. That was too much. And you have to experiment with this, and you have to kind of mess around with it and kind of see what's going on. Now, if I wanted to put this in all the time like this, I would adjust this down to like 90 or so, and I could put some in like this and put some more little ghosty things in here. Maybe put some more in here. Let's see, what does that change? So this is, yeah, let's put this at like 80 or so. Yeah. That'll make it a little bit more nicer here. There we go. There we go. Put some more of these in here. Cool. So we got that there. It's not the best hi-hat sound for trap. Let's go ahead and change that hi-hat sound. So the one we're messing with here with is closed here. Let's see. A little bit better. A little bit better there. Yeah, keep that one there. All right, so now let's do this. Let's change that kick drum if we're gonna make some trap stuff here. We're gonna change this like this, slow it down to like, so it's like a shorter drum. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in here and I'm going to, let's separate these out now, okay? So I'm gonna separate all these drums out, and that's gonna be done, let's see here, right over here in, where is it? Okay, here, select split notes. And this is great for separating out drums to different tracks per drum sound. So if I wanted to take my drums and separate them out so I can like affect them and do stuff to them, which is what I want to do, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on the clip and I'm going to go up to my event operations. I'm going to go to select split notes. This is a great feature. Logic does this. Ableton Live does not do this. So in here, I'm going to do all my notes. And I'm going to go to split notes. I'm going to cut to a new track per pitch. And you could click this box. I would click that box just in case. And I'm going to hit apply. And now see what it did. It just put all my drums onto a new track. It made new instrument tracks. But what it didn't do was it didn't take my boom over here. So I'm going to go ahead and just hold down Option and drag boom across to all my different tracks. And every sound that was on a different note goes out to its own new track. I don't need them to be all record enabled. All right, and I can get rid of the original one here. Right click, hit delete. I don't need that one anymore, really. Well, actually, it's got other clips on it, so I'm gonna hit cancel and Yeah, we're just gonna, here, we're gonna make it smaller so I'm not using it here. I'm just gonna deactivate it. This is great, actually. This is a really good, technique I'm showing y'all right now. So now I got this. So you can see here's my kick drum. So I'm gonna put this over here. My hi-hat, I'm gonna move that over here. And I'm gonna rename this. I'm gonna name this one bass drum. And this one's gonna be snare drum. This one's gonna be hand clap. And this one's gonna be closed hat 1. And let's call this one snare drum 1 as well, so I can make another snare drum. Cool, so what we need to do is add some weight to this bass drum, and I'm gonna do that using my vacuum synth here. We could actually use, I could use some samples, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it with vacuum, just to show you that you can do it with vacuum. And the sound that I've already got in here is actually pretty close to it. The way I'm gonna do this though, is I'm gonna go ahead and grab my kick drum, because I want it to do exactly the same thing as my kick drum. First of all, I'm gonna change all these one by one to be, you know, medium or small or whatever. I don't like them to be one note per thing because it's a little bit hard to look at for me. So I've got them like this. I'm gonna take my 808, I'm gonna drag it down here like this, holding down Option, and now, there we go. Let's go ahead and solo this out. So I got this here. Now we can hear it wants to be an 808. It's not quite an 808, but it wants to be an 808 so badly. So let's help it. Let's help it be a little bit more 808-y. What I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust this to make this a little bit longer. And I'm going to go ahead and put this, let's see here, I'm going to turn this one down. I'm going to put this down an octave. There we go. And actually what I'll do is I'll put this one up an octave. There we go. There we go. Much better, I think. There we go. Yeah, a little bit better. Put this to, yeah, I think that's much better. Cool. Turn that drive up. Drive? Does it have a drive? It doesn't have a drive. Okay, I thought there was maybe a knob there. All right, so we got this. Now, it's still like meh. It's still a little bit meh sounding. So what we're gonna do, take that off, move the, okay, and we're gonna add some effects into it. And this is what's really cool about this is now, even though I'm using synthesizers and I'm using my MIDI instrument tracks here, I can actually add in some effects here on top of it. So let's go to a multi-channel. Let's add, first of all, a little bit of like weight to it, some like kind of a tape type of sound. And let me see, in Pro Tools, I don't have anything that comes with Pro Tools. It's kind of like tape emulation. So I will go down to my Slate Digital down here, and let's use the tape machines here. There we go. Give a little bit of, yeah, you can hear that's kind of like, yeah. And I'm gonna unlock these here. Let's, I always forget where that button is. Is it down here under settings? Oh, right here. This little button here. There we go, so we can hear it better. There we go, you can hear it's clipping a little bit. Much better. There we go. And I'm actually clipping the output of Pro Tools. So let's turn that down. There we go, turn that up. Let me just get my there we go. Cool, and what I'm gonna do here is pull this down so it's, there we go. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in here. Let's put a little compression on here as well. Ooh, let's use It's not going to be under dynamics. Let's use the Sound Toys. I'm a huge fan of this one here. Sound Toys Decapitator for this kind of stuff. It's just instant. It's going to be instant awesome here. Yeah. There we go. Here, that's just instant, like, character. Yeah. And some of it's, like, way too much. But some of it's, like, you know. Yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and turn the input down on it. Here, hit it a little bit less hard. Yeah. There we go. Right? And I'm just dialing the sound in right here. Now with this bass drum here, like that's like the weakest bass drum ever, right? So here's a little secret for you. If you wanted to, there's a couple things I could do. First of all, I can change the sample I'm using some samples that I've got laying around, or I can try to make this one sound better. And let's use a plugin. Let's use the same thing, the Sound Toys. Let's use the same one, Decapitator here. Right, instantly it's like fatter, thicker. Let's see here. Let's pull that down. Turn that drive down a little bit. Right, let's try a different preset. Oh, way too much. That sounds better. Right, let's use this one again. And let's see if we can shape the sound a little bit more. And it's okay. Keep that the same tuning though. I mean, this drum machine is not the best for samples. Really want to get your own samples for this, as you can tell with this stuff. Let's use the same one here. Let's get our snare drum in here. Whoa. Turn that down. So let's see, use like this one here. Turn it down, turn this one off. Where is it? Yeah, there we go. Cool. And what I would do is I would use, Decapitator is like it's like what I use on like everything. Here, let's take this down. I'm like, why is this not making a difference? It's because I forgot I have them on different. I have them on different booms. And the reason why I did that was so I can do what I'm doing right now, so I can make adjustments to these separately. Because I don't want that same one for this one. There we go. And let's use a different preset in here. Drums. And so if you wanted this one here, let's just turn it down. Sounds better. And then finally this hi-hat here, let's use a different one for this one. Do I have the Camel Audio one in here? I don't think I do. So let's use one of our Air ones here. Let's use the Air kind of distortion. Pull it back. And hear what that just did to that hi-hat? How much better it sounds? There it is before. Now it sounds so much better. And all I did was just put that Air distortion on there a little bit. And these are some great like tricks for making your drums really come alive. Now, I'm not in love with how wide that hand clap is, so what I'm going to do on here is, here, let's do it right here. I'm just going to hold down Option, click these. Yeah. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna change the, maybe change the tuning on this. Wait, which one am I? Oh, I named these wrong. Hold on. This is my hand clap 1, and this is my snare drum 1. There we go. Okay, much better. Okay, there we go. Cool. There we go. Much better. Okay, yeah. There we go. Yeah, cool. And of course, you want to tune these in however you want to tune them in. And this has nothing to do with MIDI, but it's just making things sound nice. And this is what I do with stuff when I'm kind of messing around with it, when I'm getting beats going. I like it to sound nice, so I'll go ahead and start doing this kind of stuff with it pretty quickly, right? So we got this in here. We got our little 808 type of sound going on here. Now let's go ahead and mess around with this, the pitches on here. So now I've got this in here. It's doing the same thing as my kick drum here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and mess around with the notes in here. So I double click it to get it back in here. I'm going to go ahead and change my grid up here so that it's set for like an 8th note, because it doesn't need, I'm not doing any rolls with this thing. So that's fine. And I'm going to set my, over here, this length to... set it to the 8th notes as well. Now, with one thing about this, with this bass line, the way that I set up my synthesizer, which I will show you everything in step by step what I did later on when we talk about synthesis, we're going to talk about that. But with this bass, it doesn't matter how long I hold it. It's just going to be, it just does it like once and kind of like leaves it all the same. So let's go back over here. We are in, let's see here. Let's change the notes here a little bit. And let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do, put this back into this mode here. Here. Put this down here. And just move this around and see what it sounds like. And that doesn't work, right? So whatever. Put this one down here. Record that siren in there. Yep. So Elon says, can you do slides in Pro Tools? The answer is yeah, absolutely. The slides have nothing to do with Pro Tools. They have to do with the instrument you're using. So in this case here, if I wanted to use this instrument here to make a slide out of it, what I could do is I go into vacuum, and you can see here in this here, see where it says glide. I'm going to turn this to a glide on, and let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, that's like too. You have to set this up. So here, let me just play it real quick for you. Oh, dog is on my lap. The keyboard's over here. See? It's... Right? And if I want to turn this up here, this glide... Right, so if I want to play that in, what I can do is I can say, okay, let's duplicate, let's make a new one here, and we're going to go in here and hit record. No tracks are record enabled. Yep. And then let's go in here. You hear how bad that is? All right. It's like super off. I can't, oh God, this is so annoying. So I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna change this to my 8th note. Yeah, because I was doing 8th notes. And then I would have to go in here. Let's just set that all the way strength up. And move this one over. There we go. Maybe a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. Now what I want to do is I want that to line up more with that bass drum a little bit more. Move this over. Cool, like that. Let's turn this one off. And I can mute this MIDI note here by clicking on it and hitting Command M will let me mute my notes. See that? Now it still stays there, but it's not actually playing. I'm not really sure about this note. I like it in here, but it's like a little bit too busy. I'm not sure. Let's turn that hi-hat off for a second. Right. Okay. Anyway, so we got that there. Let's mute. Cool. If I want to change this hi-hat, because it's a little bit too busy for me, I'm just gonna go ahead and make a new one. Let's make a new one here. And I'm gonna make a new clip. I can highlight the section, hit Command M. Oh wait, Command Shift M. I forget how you do it in Pro Tools. It's different in every DAW. Make a clip. Okay, so I'm gonna hit Option Shift 3 to make that clip there like that. In Ableton Live, it's like Command M or Command Shift M or something like that, or some kind of M's thing. And in here, my hi-hat, we are in our, yeah, there we go. Our hi-hat, let's listen for where is our hi-hat. Hello. Hey, there we go. And you can hear, okay, we have that turned on. Let's turn this off. Let's go back in here. Where's our notes? See, and I have to kind of find my notes and see where they are, and I'm not hearing anything. So let's just see what we got. Why are we not hearing anything? Oh, it's muted. That's why. Ha ha ha. There we go. There we go. Okay, so double click on that. There we go. And you just got to find the right notes. See how I'm like searching around for the right notes? Down here, if I go too far down, I'm not going to hear anything. And if I go too far up, I'm going to hear some weird stuff. So here, there we go. So in here, I want to change this to 8th notes. So I'm going to put some 8th notes in here, or some quarter notes rather. And so I got this here, and I'm going to turn my pencil tool on, F10 with the line, and I just drag across. And now we're good to go. It's just making... Cool. And if I want to put the other ones on, I'm going to turn these down. Whoa, 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 whoa. Like that. Cool. And let's just set that, to like 40s. right, so you can see I can just go ahead and pencil these in like this. And if I want to adjust the tempo, the velocity on all of them while it's playing it, I can do that. Right, makes it a little bit more dynamic. Now, let's explore some of these other ones in here. So, some Luna trap rap over that in a minute. That'll have to be in a different video though. So over here, real quick, let's explore these event operation window here a little bit more. So we're here in the event operation window. We've got in here Tum Tum Caprice. I don't know who that is. All right, so in here we've got, in our event operations, we got quantize, we got change velocity, change duration, transpose, select split notes, input quantize, step input, and all these down here. The ones we've talked about so far is quantize, that sets up our rhythm, and our input quantize, which also sets up our rhythm as we record. And we just talked about select split notes, which allows us to separate out our notes to put different drum tracks on different channels. Change velocity and change duration and transpose. These three here are very, very useful. You're going to use them all the time if you know how to use them properly. Change velocity. This one's great. So what I'm going to do is first of all, I highlight the notes I want to use. I want to change my velocity for, like these right here. And let's say I want these to grow over time. Well, what I can do is I can set them to change smoothly from a velocity of, let's say, I don't know, 40 to 127, and watch what happens. So I hit apply. Now they're going to go from this, and they're going to get louder and louder and louder up to there. Now I want these to be at 127 as well. So I'm going to click on those and go set all to 127. There we go, boom, and now I hit go, and now let's there we go. Now, let's listen for that hi-hat there. Let me solo it out. Hear how that works? Right, so if I want to change smoothly, but I want to do it with a curve, I click on this and I just adjust my curve. Like that. And we can see that happening here. I said, let's see. Maybe we can't see it so well. Hold on, let's set it like this. It doesn't work with this one. I thought it worked with that one. Okay, so change smoothly by percentage from, all right, fine. So let's do set all to 127. And now it's changed smoothly by percentage from 20% to 100%. I'm going to have them end up at 127. And we're going to set it to a curve like this. And we'll see the curve happening in there kind of in the background. So you can see, why is there no curve happening? I don't see the curve happening, and that's weird. That might be a glitch. Oh, there we go. There's more of a curve. It's just kind of hard to see, I guess, with these. Yep. Okay. Well, it's doing it by percentage now. Let's try this one again. 1 to 127. Yeah, it's got to be the percentage. Interesting. I thought you could do it with this change smoothly function before, but I guess not. All right, so we got that there. There's some other things we can do here with this. I'm just going to highlight everything in here, Command A for all, and use the randomize function. I'm going to set them to 127. And let's limit the randomize from a max of 20 to a minimum of 20 to a max of 127. And I'm going to randomize like this. I'm going to set my set all to right in the middle here and hit go. And now let's max this out here. And this is a kind of a cool way to get some random hi-hat things going on for you. And that's a pretty cool little feature there, that randomized feature down here. And you know, you're gonna have to kind of play with it to really get the hang of it, but there it is for you to mess around with. So this velocity here is just changing our velocities of our notes to whatever we want. So I'm gonna set this hi-hat here to loud. Maybe not that loud. Let's set them to right here. And this one here, I'm gonna set this one to softer. There we go. Awesome. And let's add in another little percussion line in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this track. And we're going to call this one perk. Record a little something in here. Whoa, don't want to record you. Awesome. Just that one there. Ugh, the timing. This like lag is killing me, and it's because of loopback. It's because it's going through like 5 different places before it gets to my headphones. All right, so I've got this in here. Now let's say I like this sound. I don't love this sound. So I'm going to use transpose to change it to a different sound that's already in my drum kit here. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say event operations transpose. And let's transpose it to a different note. Now, a cool thing you can do for your drums is you can click on this one over here. And if you click here, you can actually hear the note you're going to change it to. Let's use that one right there. And so I make sure I select all my notes here and hit apply. And now it's just going to move it down to that one. Right? If I want to change this to a different note, I hit that apply button. Right, and there we go, it does that. So we can do that. If you have your scale turned on, you can have it transpose in the same key within X amount of scale steps, or you could transpose it by X amount of octaves or semitones. So if I want it to go like this bass line, for example, let's say I want to put this up an octave, what I can do is I can click it here and I can transpose it by 1 octave up or down. See that? Up or down. Let's just hit, let's hit go. All right, I don't love that, so I'm gonna put it back down. Yep, panning the percussion is always a good idea. Yep. Now also, that kick drum is off. Let's put that back in the right pitch. Now you might say, wow, Tony, you really pay attention to this, the tuning of your drums. And the answer is, yeah, you kind of have to. There we go, much better. There we go. It locks everything in a lot more. If it's in the right, they're in the right key from each other. I'm gonna put this one back down to that. I liked it when it was on this one here. And there we go. And I love this ability to transpose things like this. Logic and Pro Tools both have it like this. Ableton Live does it a very different way, which is not, I'm not as in love with that as I am with this one here. All right, great. Let's see, what do we need to talk about? The velocity, oh, duration. So duration allows us to change the length of these notes. So for example, in here, we can see that these are short, these are long. with this bass sound, it doesn't really matter. Let me change the bass sound so it does matter. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, I'm a live user as well. I just teach Pro Tools. I get paid to teach this, and I teach Ableton Live as well. We're gonna be doing Ableton Live in a couple weeks, talking about like the ins and outs of Ableton Live. All right, so in here, let's change this sustain up there, and let's pull the decay and the release down. Check this out. You hear how it now, with that one little tweak, it really makes a difference with the length of these notes here. So if I want these to all sound more same, I would have to change the length of these notes. The length of the note is called duration. So I'm going to go in here, I'll hold down Option and T and change this to duration. Or sorry, I hit T. Let's hit D. No, that doesn't do anything. Okay. So duration. I don't know what the shortcuts are for all of these. I always just use Option 0 to bring up my event operations window into quantize mode and then change it to whatever I need it from there. So in here, I can change these all to be X amount of a quarter note or an eighth note or whatever. Unfortunately, you have to know how Pro Tools talks about this. So in this case here, set all to whatever. And Pro Tools, the way it does this does not actually make any sense. I'm going to turn this off. This is a quarter note. And then my eighth note is going to be, I think 120 is an eighth note. Let's just double check that. Hit apply. No, that's a 16th note. So 240. No, that's, wait. Sorry, it's 480 is the eighth note. Oh, not U. Hold on, stop. U point 480. There we go. There we go. And since you are a live user, KeyMaker, Ableton Live and Logic both work differently than Pro Tools now. They do things in terms of 16th notes, whereas Pro Tools still does things in terms of ticks, and you have to learn how that works. So ticks, a 16th note is 240 ticks, an eighth note is 480 ticks, a quarter note is 1 quarter note, and a 32nd note is 120 ticks. Now, ticks are just terms of it's like a MIDI term. That's really arbitrary and it doesn't make any musical sense. So I like to not use. I really struggle with this. I don't really keep them memorized. Also, I don't really produce in Pro Tools anymore, so I don't really keep it memorized. But if you are producing in Pro Tools, you have to memorize this stuff. Duration, again, is just the length of this, and there's all these different things in here. So, for example, I can change this. So let's go ahead and I'm going to keep this like this, and I'm going to go ahead and change this back. My sustain all the way down. My release. And I'm going to make this a little bit faster. Yeah, I kind of like that better. Now, let's add another synth in here. It's a little bit different, whatever. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I'm gonna make another synth in here. Instrument track, stereo instrument track. And we're just gonna call this one synth. And what I'm gonna do with this is, we're in the key of F. I'm gonna go ahead and put a synth in here. Let's use one of the ones that comes with Pro Tools, which is, do I even have it? I think I don't have it actually. Okay, let's use a free one here. Let's use this Tal Noisemaker, which is free. I assume it works with my computer here. Cool. Cool, awesome. Are there any presets? There are no presets in here. Oh, load preset. Here, can we load a preset? Yeah, I've already given you permission for all this. Oh, goodness, are you kidding me? Oh, I hate that. That's like a bug. I'm just going to leave that down here for now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this down. And we're going to go into synth 1. in here. And I am going to change this here, pulse. And I'm going to put this up an octave with my keyboard. And I'm just going to go ahead and play. I'm going to program these in. I'm not going to play them in. I'm going to make a new track, a new clip here. Option Shift 3. And in here, go up a couple octaves. And I'm just going to use my pencil tool to draw this in as eighth notes. And it's just going to do this. Whoa, 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 wrong note here. And I'm going to put a little gap in them using the duration. Is there a shortcut for duration? Let's see. There's, oh, P. Huh, that makes sense. Option P for duration. And I'm going to change this here to 120. There we go. All right, so that one there. Now, if I want to make this longer, what I'm showing you is our duration stuff. So if I go in here to this, now check this out. If I, let me put that up there so I can see everything a little bit better. If I go in here and I change my duration, change continuously, like this. Let's change it by in ticks from, let's end up at 480, 0.480. And let's start where we are at 120. Let's start at 60 actually. Now watch what happens. When I hit apply, these get slowly longer over time. Which is a pretty cool little thing. Right? So we got that there, and let's make this a little bit more interesting. I wasn't going to do this, but let's make it a little bit more interesting by doing a pitch bend in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here. I'm going to change this. So we've got the pitch bend. Sometimes in synthesizers, there's like a setting where you can actually change the pitch bend. Yeah, it sounds a lot better like that, right? That sounds pretty cool. Thanks, Monique. Let's see here. I'm not sure if there is a setting in here. Control, is that like a, no? Synth 2, pitch bend? Do we see a thing for pitch bend? Well, call them up and get them on this beat, and I'll give you a cut of the royalties we make. Actually, I'd rather have Lil Jon. Let's see here. Yeah, there's no, I don't see MIDI map. MIDI map, is that a button? No, no. Yeah, I don't see, oh goodness, okay. I don't see where I can actually adjust my pitch bend in here. So I don't know how much the pitch bend will actually change with this one here. And I don't use the synth enough to know where the pitch bend settings are, or if there even are any pitch bend settings. So yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything for it. So let's see. Usually it's gonna, like by default, these are usually like a 2, but okay, you get everything I'm doing. Yeah, and this is the cool thing. This is what I'm telling my students actually, is that once you learn it in one program, it actually makes it easier to deal with in other programs. So here we got pitch bend down here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this up. Let's make this bigger. And we're going to use automation lane. Oh, I forgot this is a pitch bend. A MIDI automation doesn't work the same way as other ones, so I have to actually draw this in with my pencil tool. We're going to use a line and draw this in like this all the way up. Let's see what that happens. Oh, no pitch bend. Okay, so it's not going to let me do that. I don't know how to do it with this synth, actually. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there is a pitch bend thing in here, which is kind of annoying. So whatever, we're gonna leave that out. I was hoping to show y'all something really cool, but let's do it actually with audio. So here, let's do this. Let's do this is an interesting way. This is like kind of a workaround, since I just got stopped by that synth. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep this. I'm going to right click on the track. I'm going to turn this into audio. And I'm going to go down here to commit. So it's going to say, hey, how do you want to do this? I want to do it just with everything turned on, inserts, after last track, hide and make inactive my original track, consolidate the clips. Yep, and we already talked about this in another video, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit OK. It's going to consolidate that, see how it turns that into audio here. And I'm going to just make it, yep, so we can see. There we go. It still sounds the same. Awesome. Get rid of the end here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into polyphonic mode. And in here, oh, wait. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking about Ableton Live, and I'm thinking what I can do with Ableton Live. I don't think you can do a pitch bend in Pro Tools. I never thought about that because I don't really produce in Pro Tools anymore. But I'm pretty sure I cannot do a pitch bend in my audio in Pro Tools. I can pitch shift like in general, but I can't actually, there's no automation curve for that pitch shift like there is in Ableton Live. In Ableton Live, I could draw an automation curve into, there's a pitch wheel. Where's the pitch wheel? Let's see, let's back this up a little bit. Okay. Where is it? Where's my pitch wheel? Yeah, I was like, I could do this in Pro Tools just like I could do it in Ableton Live. And I was like, oh, wait, nope. Tuning, transpose. Where's the pitch wheel? Synth 2, filter, ADSR. It's under controls in the center. Control pitch. Hey, there we go. Awesome. Thank you, Carl, to the rescue. Yes. Good looking out. I was like, it's really weird that it's not there. I just couldn't find it. I am not Kia. Is Kia here? Oh, Kia's here. Oh, what's up, Kia? I didn't realize who you were. Nice. Professor, what's another word for pirate treasure? Why, I think it's booty. Booty. Okay. All right. So awesome. Awesome, dude. So we're going to go in here. We're going to go back to our pitch bend in here. What's up? Kia, they don't miss you at all, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, sorry to burst your little bubble there, buddy. Just kidding. So we're going to go in here. We're going to use the pencil tool, and we're going to draw this in. And we'll have a nice little pitch bend. There we go. Awesome. And as you can see, for some reason, it didn't do my lengthening thing that I just did on my transpose. We're going to go back here to clips. And I got my pitch bend now. That sounds good. But for some reason, it got rid of my other thing, option 0, or option P, rather, for pitch bend. I guess that's for duration. And we're going to put this in. It still says 6480. There we go. Boom. And now... Cool. Right, so that sounds pretty cool. Let's do one more thing, and this is kind of tying into what we talked about with plugins and automation last week. Let's make this so it actually spreads out and gets crazier over time. So first of all, we're going to put the spread on it using, let's use Sound Toys. And we're going to use Microshift. Microshift is pretty cool. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it to turn into like this. Yeah, we're going to start here. All right, and we're going to automate these ones here. So I'm going to hold down my claw and click Enable Automation for Mix, Enable Automation for Detune, and Enable Automation for Delay. All three of those are going to show up over here, down here in the bottom part. So if we look at this, all of this stuff here is all our MIDI automation stuff, and all this stuff here is for our plugins and volume and stuff like that. And it even says it here, volume, audio mute, that stuff there. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to do my mix first, and let's put in an automation for this. So we're going to start here at this one. Whoops. And boop. I'm going to put in my thing there and drag this down. Remember, there are no curves, so I'm just going to put a curve in by hand. Carl was asking about this the other day. And I'm going to make it so it actually ends up being at full tempo up here. Put this in slip mode and do that. And let's do the same thing with this one here. Now, there's a shortcut. I forget what it is. Let's see if I can find it. I can't remember what it is. There's a shortcut in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. So if I hold down Control and Command, it'll automatically go to that parameter. So it makes it a little bit easier. I don't have to pull it down in my list over on the left. As long as I've automated and enabled that parameter, we're good to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in here and pull this up. Boop, boop. Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, just whatever. Just take this, and once you learn how to use this stuff, it's like once you get really fast with it, you can draw in the curves like that pretty quickly. And let's put this one here at like this, and have that go up. I agree with you, Carl. I mean, once you get used to curves, it's like you don't want to go back to no curves. But before I had access to curves in Ableton Live or Logic, I would do it like this. So here we go. Let's take a listen to this. Awesome. Change the style and see what that sounds like. Yeah, that sounds really cool. Now let's also use a little delay on this. Let's make a new aux track here, call it delay. And right there, that did not name it delay, but let's name it delay. There we go. So in here, we're going to take this and make it bigger so we can see what's going on. And I'm going to put a delay on here. I mean, what's the point of having a track called delay if you don't have a delay living on it, right? Am I right? Am I right? Yeah, I'm right. And go in here to delay. That's the wrong delay. Sorry, it's what happens when you have too many plugins. Let's go to the delay that I actually want. Mod delay 3. And the reason why I'm using this one is because y'all have it. So in here, and what we'll do is we'll set up in our thing here. And remember, this is all stuff we've learned about before. I'm just kind of showing you how to spice this stuff up. And we're going to go to our output. We're going to go to that track called delay right there. Boom. There we go. Let's set this up. Now I'm going to automate this, but I just want to get my delay going, now. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to set this into sync. 128. It is not here. Let's set this like this. So I got this here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the sync here. Oh no, I'm going to keep the sync on. Let's do this. Oh wait, hold on. I don't want these locked together. Oh, link. Turn off the link. That's what I want turned off. Put this back to 0, and let's put this one up to like 50. Cool. Let's turn this feedback up. Awesome. Cool. And let's put a reverb in here as well. Reverb. There we go. So far, that's the only real glitch that I've seen happen in here, so I'm not too sad about that. Let's put a reverb in here. Again, why make a track called reverb if you don't have a reverb on it? We'll use the, let's use the deverb because y'all have that. And in here, I'm going to use, let's use a plate, medium. It should be fine, all this stuff here, cool. And I'm going to send it to that one as well. Track send to my reverb. What I'm also going to do though, remember, is I'm going to send this one to the reverb as well. Track reverb. Boop-a-doop. There we go. Okay, now what I don't want it to happen is I want it to start off like this though. I want it to start off with less stuff on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here to my sends here, delay level, and this one here, it's already set to the level I want it to end up at. So I'm just gonna turn it down, go in here and adjust that and adjust that. There we go. And then send B level, my reverb, and adjust this. And you can see that once you get fast with this stuff, Carl, I'm talking to you, it's not that hard to put like a fake curve in there. And there we go. And there you go. So now we got some interesting stuff using all the techniques that we've learned so far, which is pretty darn cool. So, yeah, it's good stuff, right? Now let's get that snare drum back in there. Awesome. Sweet. And there we go. I'm going to go ahead and stop right there because we've been recording for a while. And yeah, so what time is it? I lost track of time. Oh, it's 12:15. Wow, I don't have a clock right in front of me right now. So